To answer the reading questions for our Grit textbook, Chapter 1 showing up, which is due Sunday, you're going to need to go to our course page, Writing Foundations, scroll down to where the syllabus module is, then click on the syllabus, and from there go to page 4 in the syllabus, and under week 2, which is right here, you will then be able to see the reading questions, which are under number 3. Now, every week, there are 4 questions for you to answer, or every week that we're reading Grit, I should say. And the first 3 questions, A, B, C, are always going to be the same. Question D will be different. So for question A, what is Duckworth's main argument in Chapter 1 of Grit showing up? You're being asked to refer back to, or kind of think back to, our grammar textbook, the Academic Writing and the Emerging Scholar, and think to Chapter 1 where you learned about argument, which is basically a statement that someone supports with reason or evidence. So what is the main argument or kind of lesson that Duckworth is trying to get through in this chapter? And if you need more help finding the main argument, I cover that in this video, which you can find up above. All right, so for question B, once you've determined the main argument, you need to explain how did you arrive at the conclusion that this is the main argument. And I want you to point to the examples or quotes within Chapter 1 that helped you determine that this was Duckworth's main lesson. And altogether, this answer should take you between 100 to 200 words and be about a paragraph. Try to use the paragraph formatting that you learned in Chapter 8 last week in our grammar book. Now, for question C, you have 2 options to choose from. The first is to answer where do you agree or disagree with Duckworth's argument? Or the second question is, what questions do you have after reading this chapter? And for questions, that could be either something in the chapter confused you and you want clarification, or perhaps something like sparked your curiosity and now you want to go out and learn more about that. So answer just one of those, either 1 or 2. And again, your answer should be between 100 and 200 words and be a decent sized paragraph, and use the paragraph formatting that you learned in our grammar textbook. Now, the last question for this week, question D, I'm asking you to just pick one sentence from our Grit book. It could be the first sentence of the chapter, doesn't matter, but I want you to identify the nouns, verbs, prepositions, and conjunctions, if there are any, that we learned about in Chapter 13 of our grammar textbook from last week. So you should remember this chapter. It should look a little familiar to you. Go back and review that if you need to. All right, a couple other points to see how the assignment should be formatted when you submit it. Go to page 12 on the syllabus, where you will see an example of how your paper should be formatted right here under the formatting. And you will also see a little more information about the assignment on the following page, on page, I believe it's 13 or 12, right here with reading questions. All right, there is a document on the course page that can help you format your submissions. So if you scroll down to where it says course resources, click on reading questions sample. Basically, you can download this document right here by clicking on this link at the top that says download, and it will give you all the places to just fill in. And you should have everything by then. All right, if there are any questions, just give me a text or an email.